Let's end off with some mystic creatures. You know a lot about these guys. Bigfoot always fascinated me.
Bigfoot's a Nephilim. Bigfoot is absolutely Nephilim.
Really?
Yes. And he is a remnant leftover Nephilim that has survived. I don't know if you know this, but gorillas weren't discovered till like 200 years ago. Did you know that?
What?
Yes. Gorillas.
That's crazy.
Gorillas were like known as a race of angry men like before this.
Whoa. I always thought they'd been around for so long for some reason.
Yeah. They weren't discovered because before then they were considered people.
No.
Yes. They were considered people. They were a race of angry men.
In the 1800s, they were considered people.
Yes. They didn't know, and they were like elusive, and they were like, it was this hidden group of people that lived in the forest or whatever. So how many chromosomes do humans have? Do you know?
Is it 32 or
46?
46.
46. And people with Down syndrome usually have 47. And gorillas have 48.
Whoa.
Isn't that interesting?
Really interesting, yeah.
So like there's this misconception that like we evolved from monkeys. No, we didn't. We didn't evolve from monkeys. God created us. Monkeys quite possibly de-evolved from us, mixing with animal, Nephilim, angelic DNA. I know this sounds crazy, but like they're Nephilim offspring remnants. And there's so much connection to this. I think I talk about it in my if you go to ancientangels.com and you watch the movie Ancient Angels, you'll learn about some of this in more detail. But like the angels, like basically in the Book of Enoch, Book of Jasher, it talks about there's these creatures that come out of a whirlwind. And it says from the middle down, they're like children of men. And from the middle up, they're like bears or kifas. And the closest word for kifa we know is kof, which means monkey. So it's like, what do you get when you mix a monkey, a bear, and a human? That would probably be something like a gorilla.
Wow.
So like gorillas were quite possibly this hybridized Nephilim offspring creation that just basically degraded down to the Down syndrome state and reverted back to an animalistic state, basically.
That is fascinating.
And so there's so, and like, and I know this sounds crazy, but like if you go on my YouTube, I talk about a lot about this too. And when we get into it, it's like even the word for like if you've seen a baboon, they look like dogs kind of, right? So I don't know if you know this, but the Japanese or ancient Chinese word for monkey is humanity plus dog. So you take the word dog and the word humanity, and that's their word for monkey.
Really?
And it's like, oh, that's strange. Why is it that way? Well, maybe because that's what it was. like maybe there was a connection there at one point and people knew about it. Because if you look into ancient history, there's like Canaanites and it talks about bloodlines and all kinds of mixing of animals and genetic stuff. You can even look up old drawings right now. Like people are like, oh, this sounds crazy. Like Jesus literally said, go and preach this gospel to every creature. Okay, every creature. You gonna go talk, you're gonna preach the gospel of Jesus to a dog? What are you gonna do? Like, bro, you ain't gonna do that. Like, preach the gospel to every creature. Like, because the gospel of who Jesus is, this is why he came too. Because of the corruption of our DNA, the corruption of our genetics, the wickedness in our heart, but also like, this is why we need a savior. Like, this is why we needed Jesus. Like he was redeeming us from the law of sin and death and from the wickedness that has corrupted our genome. And so like we needed Jesus as our savior, spiritually and physically to some extent. Okay. And so like and you read the words in the text in the Bible, Jesus says like they went and casted out demons, but the word demons has two meanings. There's daemon and there's demons. Daemon is like the will of a demon. Demon in its root word means the physical body of a demon. So there is like something else that we just don't know about or has been erased. A lot of it's been erased from our history books and stuff that they've neglected, but you can see pieces of this evidence. But like there was physical bodied, not full human things existing at the time of Jesus even.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were literally, we called them Canaanites. Canaan means dog. Night, Canaanite means dog, human. So this is like those dog-headed people, which by the way, if you've seen, when Christopher Columbus first got to America, he actually talked about a race of dog-headed people being here.
Really?
Have you read that?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very fascinating.
I didn't learn that in history class.
No, they don't want you to read that. In fact, his original writings went missing.
Wow.
How ironic is that? And so the only thing that was saved was his son wrote down some of the stuff that he wrote. And then that writing was actually considered banned or something.
Really?
Yes. And so like when they look up like Christopher Columbus, they don't want you to know what he wrote. But you can look up people like Hernan Cortes. It literally, type in Hernan Cortes giants, and you will read what Hernan Cortes, when he first got here, okay, Hernan Cortes wrote about a race of giants that existed, that I believe it was the Incas or I forget, one of the Native American people that got here. He says straight up in his quote that there is the posterity of giants they believe to exist here. He said they brought him the leg bone of one, which was from the hip to the knee. And he said, I measured myself against it and it was as tall as I am.
Jeez.
Though I am a man of reasonable height, he said, this must assuredly be giants in the land. So there was like a race of giants. And basically they get here and there was dog-headed people and there was giants and they literally basically wiped them out. Like they got here and just like killed them. Wow. And so you can look up the old drawings of like the dog-headed people eating humans, like from, I think it's Christopher. I don't know if it was Christopher. It might have been Sir Francis Drake. But either way, type in Sir Francis Drake giants, type in Christopher Columbus giants or dog-head people, type in Hernan Cortes giants, type in Amerigo Vespucci giants, type in any early explorer giants or dog-headed people or something. You're going to find some writings that you're going to be like, why didn't they teach us this in school?
That's fascinating.
And they'll be like, oh, no, because that was just them imaginating. They were just using their imagination. That was just the made up part. We don't want to teach you that. Or how about it really existed and they just don't want you to know about it because it points to the Bible and it validates that the Bible is true. Like it validates that God is true. It validates that like everything that we know about the biblical text is not what we're assuming.
Yeah. So where do you draw the line with these creatures? Do you believe in fairies and like dragons, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So dragons are demons.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. It even says in the Bible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So dragons are literally listed. It literally says in Revelation, it says the dragon who is the devil, the serpent. Okay. And it says like literally he is referred to as the dragon. Okay. He was the snake in the Garden of Eden. And then he lost his legs. You know that story? Have you heard that story?
No.
Snake? Okay. Garden of Eden. The serpent came to Adam and Eve. And he had legs, and he whispers to Eve, eat of the apple, and you will surely live. And she dies and creates the sickness, right? And all the evilness. But then as a curse to the serpent, he loses his legs. So he was a dragon originally, technically to some degree.
Okay.
And so like dragons, so throughout history, you'll see the dragon is synonymous with Satan, like every time. In fact, America, people think, they tell you America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, who's an Italian map maker. You honestly think 2 continents were named after a guy's first name? Like how naive do you have to be? Amerigo Vespucci was like, I'm going to name this area after me. No, it's Amaru Ka. It means, Amaru means the dragon. It's the dragon is the head. On the Aztec temples, you know, there's a snake that runs down the temples where they kill the people and pour the blood down the stairs. There's snakes at the end of the temple. The snake's name is Amaru. Ka means land. Amaru Ka, America. It means the land of the dragon. It means the land of the serpent. The feathered serpent, the plumed serpent, Kukulkan, Quetzalcoatl, same dude. It means the dragon. That's literally Satan. Okay? Yeah. All of it's tethered to Satan. You can see depictions of Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, this plumed serpent, okay, eating people. Okay? And there's drawings and stuff of this. Like, because he was the sacrifice. He's the dragon. So like the dragon is all tethered to Satan in so many different historical contexts. If you just start opening up, type in dragon and read the context.
I didn't know that because they're big in Chinese culture, dragons.
Yes, they're absolutely big. Well, those dragons I think might have been dinosaurs.
Okay.
And those are a little bit different. but there's also the dragons that spoke in the Chinese stuff, and those are probably demons that they were like evoking. And so like, because there was, I mean, I don't know if you ever seen a T-Rex skeleton and you ever compared it to an ostrich skeleton.
I haven't.
Dude.
Can't say I've done that.
Okay, look, okay, for those that are watching, you notice how the T-Rex has a stupid little arms. What creature has stupid little arms like that?
Ostrich, right? Or kangaroo too.
Yeah, well, yeah, the stupid little arms, that's not its arms. It had wings. Those are wings. And if you look at the ostrich skeleton, you're like, dude, bro, that looks like a T-Rex with a tiny head. That's what that is. And so if you look up the old text of dragons, if you look it up, there's multiple different kinds of dragons. They're called wyverns, which are W-Y-V-E-R-N. Wyvern, have you heard of that?
No.
So look up Drake, wyvern. There's multiple different terms for dragons. Okay, I forget the rest of them. But the wyvern is a dragon, which is a T-Rex. It's literally, but the only thing is people were telling them, hey, what did it look like? Oh, it had a long tail, it had wings, and it had a big mouth with a big head and a neck and a body. And so the artist rendition would always draw their tails like curly. So you see dragons with like these curly tails. Their tails weren't curly. They were straight out. Like that's how T-Rex tails were, right? So it wasn't like this spinny, but the artist rendition couldn't comprehend what these dinosaurs looked like. So, and they weren't seeing them, right? Because there was not as many of them at that time, because we basically hunted them to the point of extinction. But like the artists like would draw their rendition of them, and it would not be exactly what a T-Rex would look like. But if you look up the text of dragons on seals, almost every one of them has 2 legs and wings. Like the T-Rex, those little things, those are his wings. The rest of his wingspan would have been cartilage.
Wow.
So he couldn't fly potentially. I mean, I doubt the T-Rex could fly.
That'd be crazy.
but he was a creature that had just like an ostrich, he had wings. Maybe he was covered in feathers. Maybe he was scaly. We don't know. Who knows? Like all kinds of interesting stuff.
Yeah, that is
when it comes to it.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.